Mm-hmm. What?
For you to talk, but I'm streaming. Bitch boy, I'm streaming.
What?
I'm streaming, bitch boy.
Why? Yeah, cool. What about me? What? What do I need to do?
Nothing. I never
I'm
talked to
fucking
you.
confused.
I never talked to
I
you.
can't hear the other one.
Jackie boy. Jackie boy. He's probably AFK for a minute. Because I'm going to continue doing the stuff here. Oh. Auto focus on this figurine. Thank you. Are you watching now? Oda?
What?
Is that you watching?
You're streaming?
Yeah. Are you watching the stream? Or who's?
Not right now.
You're not watching the
Trying
stream?
to. I'm trying to get some shit to work for me, and then go to my bank account. But it's being a dick.
Then
The fucking
I'm
go
gonna
on
say
sites
hello
down
to
right now.
whoever is watching right now.
What?
I'm streaming, I told you.
No, I didn't hear you. What?
Yes, somebody is in stream. I have a viewer, which is why I'm asking whether or not that's you.
No.
Clappity clap. My ass cheeks are no wet. Right. One more. Right. Jackie boy, where are you? Jackie boy? Raven?
Yeah, what?
Oh, you joined. The two of you have met already, to my own demise. I still don't like that the two of you have met. But nothing that would change.
Why do you not like that we have met?
Oh, I don't know. Two people who love to scheme for the idea of putting me basically into a total sub position permanently.
Oh, such a poor boy.
This doesn't work. I told you this before.
No. No, okay. So, wait, 1 second.
Just command him to get on VR chat. It's simple.
I'm not gonna go on VR chat. I'm going to do this now.
I could change your mind quickly.
Don't you dare.
Wanna fuck?
I don't wanna fuck you. Not now.
No, I was talking about me.
Don't offer.
No, I didn't offer. I said it as a fucking example, you fucking tard.
No, you just said wanna fuck.
Du Behinderte.
You just said you wanna fuck. That's all you said. You can't blame me for that. That's what you said.
Yeah, but sometimes you just say things as an example.
They make clear it's an example. One day I actually might take you up on that offer.
Oh, he'll take it up. Oh, he'll definitely do that. Anyways, I will be right back.
What's that supposed to mean, Aura?
Oh, nothing. Just how much you like to be ticked down. It's okay. You like to be ticked down, sure. All of it.
Bastard. Well, you know what's worst? The worst thing about this? This is all on recording. I will never be able to get rid of this because it will be on the internet.
Exactly.
Yes, this is on multiple recordings. This is also on my recording.
What do you mean you're recording?
Oh.
I'm always recording.
Ah.
And you stop
Oh,
laughing,
okay.
otherwise I'm gonna suck your dick, Aura.
Oh, thank fuck.
That's not a threat. That's a setup for a good time.
The only difference is that he doesn't like men.
Shit.
Well, what if he doesn't view you as a man?
Sorry, what? What?
You know what? You know what? I like you even more. You put the
What if
perfect...
he doesn't view you as a man, but as a subby little puppy?
Yeah. You have no idea how I view you.
I'm gonna concentrate on this here.
Yeah, you struggling that much?
Don't do this to me.
Aww.
You should shut up. We talked about this before. You don't get to do the stuff if you're not willing to take responsibility. Shut up. We made this very clear, didn't we?
I don't know. Maybe. Might have to refresh my brain.
How about... Uh-huh. Uh-huh. No, you don't get... People don't no longer get a chance to play with me.
Raven, do you actually play VR?
That's how I met him.
I actually don't know what friends of yours play.
You can just look into their roles. Everybody that has a VSC role,
is
I met
everybody
them.
rolled now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha.
I mean, there needs to be more roles, but like for the general gist of where I met people, that will be enough for now.
Wait a minute. Oh.
What?
Hold up.
What?
I just realized I have power.
No.
I just
No.
realized I have power in this server. I completely forgot how much I had.
I made you co-owner.
Yeah, I forgot.
Do not dare to abuse this power. It will be removed faster than you can count to 5. I warn you, do not dare to abuse that power. I give you that power because I trust you.
I definitely won't. No, it's all right. Don't worry. Wait, how do I
You
I
have
just-
now received an official warning in that regard. If I see bullshit being done to other people, I don't mind you doing shit to me. If I see you do
No, I'm not
bullshit to
gonna
other
do
people,
it. No, I'm not gonna do anything to anyone else. How do I do it?
oh, what do you want to do?
Bro, it has been so fucking long since I've done anything like that. Where the fuck is it?
How about you ask your new best friend?
See, I would, but it defeats the purpose. How the fuck do I actually do this in the server? Oh wait, is it actual server setting?
What are you looking for?
Don't worry about it.
I know you.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's okay. Just gotta
If you
find
don't
something.
tell me what you're doing right now, I'm gonna kiss you.
Uh-oh. Where the fuck did I go? No, go back to the server. I will find this fucking thing. No, it's only visible to that. This on.
What, do you want to change my
Clearly.
nickname?
I just played a game of, I believe, hardcore cyber attack,
Mm-hmm.
and these guys lost a round, and they got all butthurt. And the next round they won, and they were like, "Ooh, look at us."
Can't
If-
fucking find it.
If I had played with you, they would be crying on the floor.
Hey, babe, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was focusing.
Alright, I shall be back though.
But how is my baby doing?
What's up, fuck knuckles? Zuki doing a very good job. Good boy.
Why? Why everybody now?
I'm sorry there. I'm so sorry, but like, what the fuck was that?
I want to make this very clear. Everybody who's on this
Wait.
channel right now will be on stream. Anything that will be said can
Hey,
and
stream!
will be used.
This German man likes to get it up their ass.
Can and will be used
Crazy
against you.
horny bastard.
I know. I love it.
You love me being horny. Oh, thank you, Zuki.
Maybe I should also should also make up stories about how I get fucked by you in my dreams.
You won't be the first. Quite literally.
I know. We talked about this.
Oh yeah, we did.
That's why I even had the idea for that joke.
Dude,
Oh, because you're such a good boy. You listen
no,
to
it isn't
what
a
Daddy says.
duchy, if I'm right. Wait, actually, that might be a duchy. We have at least one German, one duchy.
We have an Irishman. We have
Fuck off.
multiple Americans.
We have. Why do we have multiple? That's one's too many already. No offense. Fuck! No, my pizza.
Calm as a bitch, isn't
know,
it?
but that's
Yeah,
good
capital
question,
literally came and
Zaza.
Fucked me.
I actually never got where you were from.
He's an Irishman.
Irish.
I'm Irish descended, living in England. Good hat. Howdy do.
That's where the fucked accent comes from.
Chief Max is from fucking York.
Also,
right? I
you
don't
both
like-
of you love drinking whiskey.
Oh, yeah. Although I drink the good whiskey, Jameson's.
Talk with him about it.
Fight
Good
me.
sir.
Fucking fight me.
Okay. Okay, fucker. Okay. Fisticuff. Come on then.
I always love that expression. Let's go fisticuffs.
Come on.
My dad's got some good whiskey.
What's he fucking got? I'm highly judging him, by the way.
He's
Cut-
got.
cinch it up.
Fuck,
Unless
what's
you are from Ireland, I'm the pinnacle judge. because I made the fucking drink, motherfucker.
I don't remember what brand he has, but he has like Scottish brands,
Okay, that's fair.
like actual good expensive Scottish brands. It's not like the cheap shit. It's not like
The only.
it's not like a Jack or something, you know.
Well, no, right. Jack Daniels. They are foreign.
It's still
Which
good
means-
whiskey. It's still good whiskey.
They're automatically worse, but they're the best because they're foreign.
They're the best.
They're the
at being
only good
bad.
foreign whiskey.
They're the best at being.
No, because all the other whiskies from different countries try to be good, but they're shit.
but-
Are they
But
though?
my dad drinks
Uh-huh.
shit like what was it again? Glenbrioch. That's the like the actual like
Oh,
stereotypical
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Scottish shit. Hey, wait. Was that a Dutchie in here or was that a Dutchie in my game? I just heard somebody go like kanker toch op, joh.
We have a Belgian in here.
Does he make good chocolate?
Are,
Sorry,
Remy?
that's typical
no, they're
Irish.
not
Remy?
here at the moment.
Jack, Remy.
Oh right, yeah. I forgot. I never asked him if he makes chocolate. I need to ask him.
Of course, that would also be my first question.
Well, yeah, that should have been my first, but I didn't. Why didn't I ask that question? Oh,
Because, you know, I raised you better than that.
so good.
No, it wasn't my game.
Oh, it's so good. It's so dirty, but so good. Mm. Oh, that tastes amazing. Duke, I don't care what you say. Sex might be good, but food is just better. I'm sorry.
Food hits different.
Exactly.
You make
You know,
oh,
the
wait.
difference between food and sex is food also hits on a Tuesday night when you have been out with the boys.
Nah. Sitting around the campfire with the boys, cold one in the hand.
Whoa. I don't know about you, but I don't know what the fuck your partner would be up to if they don't let you hit it. I mean,
Why,
I get
yeah.
it when it's like just a no because they're not in the mood, but when it's one specific day,
No,
Yeah,
what I
they
mean,
never let
that's
you
not what
hit.
that's not what I meant, but I guess.
I'm gonna disappear again, so adios amigos.
Why? I thought we wanted to do minifigures. Motherfucker! You having fun, Crow? Oh, she's texting, isn't she? She's not talking because I'm live.
no, they're in the bus. It would be really loud.
Ah, there. I have the text chat now open. Yeah, by the way,
No,
if you find the pings annoying on the server, mute the server, please. Nah. I hear something in the background. Sounds like a fan or something, but that's about it. Sounds like static noise almost.
That can be from me. I didn't put it back. My sensitivity back up.
No, it's from her.
Yeah, we do hear the soundboard.
Yeah, of course, the soundboard has to do with nothing else, but we can't hear you talk.
Yeah.
Now it stopped. I can still, I still can't hear her talk. Now it's starting again. I still can't hear her talk. Oh no, this fits snugly in.
Discord might just be fucked.
Ooh, yeah. I need to push it in a bit deeper. And now it's sitting nice and tight. I did it again, didn't I? Oops, I did it again. Alright. One last figure. I'm not going to ask why this is happening right now. Fair enough.
I mean, that's true, yeah.
Can she hear us? Ah, you can hear us. Alright. Just your mic is not working, basically.
Yeah. How do you mean? I know shit too. Hello. That I'm not a psychology major doesn't mean that I don't know this shit. I just agreed/confirmed. I mean, it is a fairly publicly known fact that food makes you happy for a longer period of time. At least down here it is. Oh yeah, in a group chat, I mean, in WhatsApp, somebody went like, "Yeah, I got confirmed with freakiness by Freud himself." Oh God, what is this version of shipment? Stay high, dude. If I was playing this high, I'd be fucking tripping even harder than I'd already be. No, you are, by the way. If I forgot to say that.
Hasn't Freud been disproved multiple times at this point?
I mean, there have been some theories that he was wrong in shit.
Because I
But that
remember,
happens with
because
everyone in
I also
psychology.
had some stuff in regards to Freud, development of the brain of a child, and if I remembered correctly, or what was it? I believe 3 years ago, there were a few studies that were bound together. I mean, fair enough, though. But I mean, we're talking about psychology, and if without proper articulation of what you're describing, you're to a degree wrong, even though you mean the right thing, maybe. No, but I remember the, or what was the idea that that a person always, so basically a son always is looking for a replication of his mother in a partner.
In a lot of
I don't remember what it was called anymore. There was a name for that. I also have it written somewhere. I just forgot where I have it. I spent years with the idea of Kant in human development. Kant, Freud, on ethical and psychological ideas and solutions. I find Kant really interesting as a concept for problem solving. He has a really interesting idea for that. I'm not going to lie. It's very difficult to explain to people. I'm not going to lie though. I'm not going to lie. What I like most about psychology is the concept of there is no perfect solution for everybody. You need to find different solutions for different people. Printing / attachment theory. No, it had a different name. Let me give me a second. There was a concrete name of a person there. That's why I remember it so well. Oedipus. That's what it meant. Oedipus complex. Refers to a son's sexual attitude towards his mother and concomitant hostility towards his father, first formed during a phallic stage of psychosexual development. That's what I was talking about. It's a really interesting theory. And I can see where he's coming from as a concept. Because in theory, in an ideal stage of basically development of a person, mother and father should depict the person, should depict the part of what the future person wants to become. So, yeah, no, but that's what I meant. Like, I meant the Oedipus complex. And it's a really interesting idea as a concept.
They say you're like my mum, but we do have a lot of shit in common.
What I find really interesting about that concept but we're talking about two different things. I want to make this very clear. Oedipus complex is way more specific. I believe that was one of the theories that were proven wrong. Though the thought experiment of it is interesting. I have to give it to him.
It's just German.
Yeah, I'm Jim.
That was...
Yeah, no, I
Come
find these
on.
parts interesting. What I find even more interesting if you combine them with thought concepts like Kant and people, because that's where it gets really interesting. On
No, I've been taught to speak British and Queen's English.
what's happening here? I'm not even paying attention. I'm just doing my stuff and reading text every now and again. I was just trying to have an intellectual conversation. I like to be disproven and thought exchange because that's why I like ethics and psychology so much.
I just don't know what it is, okay? I don't know why it is. I don't know how it is.
Hi, Loli.
When it is.
Hi, Zook.
So this is Raven and his girlfriend Crow. The other person, Zazadila, is Jack, a friend of another friend group.
Yes, I've seen Raven. I have Raven added on my Discord, I think.
Yeah, you two met before, multiple times.
Yeah. Hello.
He said he knew you before he knew me.
Wait, who?
That's Loli.
Yeah, I'm Loli.
I'm sorry, Crow. Partner,
Wait,
I thought
who,
girlfriend
where?
would work just fine, but apparently not. Anyway, this is Loli.
What did you say?
I said this is Loli.
What, lovely?
I'm talking about you.
Yes, this is me. Hello. I'm
No,
sorry,
because-
I'm tired.
Did I complain?
No.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I'm a bit sorry.
Boom. Another game won. Anyways.
Yeah, Raven is playing Call of Duty. I don't know specifically what Crow is doing. Feel like they're just
on their
relaxing.
way home.
Oh, they're on their way home.
Or they should already almost be home. Actually.
Yeah, I have to work or my boyfriend will complain. But I'm too lazy, I don't wanna.
Don't do it then.
Not much
But
happened.
I have to.
Ha!
Oh yeah, no, they were talking about what we were doing. Because he didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah. Nothing.
So I just filled in the blanks.
Alright. Oh, that's a back panel. Oh, wait. Can I still fit this?
Wait, you're still in
Yes.
class? Oh wait, it's still 7. I didn't. I read the time wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah. What class you doing right now? Just curious. You get more of the fun part of English. I just get the really like basic. I just got the really basic shit part of English.
Oh wait, it's Friday today, is it?
I don't know.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Oh God. Yay, I don't need to. Well, I need work because my boyfriend, but otherwise I'm free. Don't need to think.
I'm really curious always for people who study psychology, the concept of the human computer. I know there has been an experiment in, I believe it was
I
2011.
am off on Monday, actually. By the way, just so you know. And also, I will be at my grandma's birthday tomorrow, and I'll be meeting a celebrity tomorrow. So, yeah.
I got invested in the human computer now. You gotta talk more about it.
Oh yeah, there has been a study. It was inconclusive, but the idea was, or the
Why not?
problem that you basically pronounce is,
Why
If-
not? So I can't fucking text you at all. Damn.
what's that supposed to? What's Bush?
Busch Gardens.
What's that?
It's a amusement park thingy.
Okay.
Am I the only one interested in technology besides Zook?
Oh no,
Oh,
this
no,
is like
yeah.
that is psychology. Interestingly enough, the interesting question that is posed is basically if there's no human soul, and you can replicate anything, any and all emotions with basically chemistry, what worth are we posing towards the actions that humans take? Are they still responsible for
When
it?
it comes to getting you food, I might have to take out of my savings because I might have to get myself one of my costumes for Touch Comic Con.
Zook, I think in this
Otherwise,
case
I'll be there on time.
we might as well just consider that chemistry is life. like we have to reconsider what
Oh,
we
yeah, I'm
perceive as life. at this
one of
point.
the costumes I was gonna get.
No,
for
the interesting problem
Pentagon.
that is posed there is that would mean you have no free
Unless it's
will.
not
If you're
naked, then
basically a
fine.
human computer that could be calculated, that is basically constructed by external features and a combination of
I
hormones,
was getting myself a...
that
no,
would
no, 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 no. I was gonna get myself a new toothless onesie. And you already knew about the dino suit that I wanted to get.
But Zook, what I think is that because of the randomness in physics.
Sorry, sorry.
there is no randomness in physics. That's the fun part.
No, no,
People,
no. But what I mean
of which
is
I
that
can't use
there is
anymore because
chaotic
I have
No.
particles are never.
I don't have.
they are
Well,
they are in theory calculable. There is the
yeah,
problem.
but the fact that you calculate it makes it do something else. So no, you cannot.
No,
calculate
no,
it
that's
and
the
have it
that's the
always
that's the
same
concept
value.
of it though. In theory, that is Laplace's demon.
Because that's from
In theory, there's nothing stopping you from basically calculating everything. There's nothing stopping you
might
from doing
just
that.
go as the douchebag gamer, to be honest, or casual, like
It's almost
all
impossible
dirty
to
sweater.
do those kind of experiments.
sweater.
I
without
want to make
changing
this
the
very
result.
clear. We're talking about hypotheticals here. So talking about what actually can be done is irrelevant. The way more interesting path about this is though if you could prove that, that would mean that the whole concept of law doesn't work. Which is why this experiment was so interesting. It was inconclusory because the way the experiment was designed in and of itself wouldn't give you the answers that you're looking for. But it was a very interesting idea. Yeah, no, the experiment in and of itself was inconclusory to make such a statement.
That's so gambling.
Yeah, it's complex. So too complex.
No,
to
if I remember correctly, they did a. They wanted to test if you could give in a reaction before you you were supposed to press the button the moment you're thinking about it. That's the way they wanted to do it, if I remember it correctly.
Wait, they wanted to predict the reaction, basically.
They wanted to see whether or not you would need whether or not the idea was basically was to find out whether or not the reaction would happen before you're thinking, if I remember correctly. The interesting thing that was posed there was basically like if you don't need to think about it, so you're not posing a free will, but you're doing it by default, that would in turn mean that that there is in theory no soul then, and of course you wouldn't have any fault for what you're doing. The problem with that experiment was it doesn't work really. That concept didn't really work of an experiment, so it's still inconclusory, but it opened up the idea of, especially with the concept of Laplace's steaming being around before and stuff, that what if question of what if we are just biological computers that can be perfectly predicted in theory?
I think we are, but we don't have the technology to do such.
No,
research.
but that follows. If you do not have a soul to make the free decision, no law works. I want to
No, but
make this.
Look, for example, AI. I've studied a lot AI because I'm a developer and I focused a lot my attention on AI. AI nowadays works 100% in patterns. Okay, the AI we have nowadays is not conscious; it is based on patterns. But because AI nowadays has like terabytes and terabytes of data, the pattern can be extremely precise. And that is the reason they are able to simulate at perfection the emotions and
but
the reaction of humans. But that's the thing. You have so much data that you're able to simulate it, that you are still a robot.
The thing is, though, that makes laws not work. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Loli. If you operate under the assumption that there's no free will, which would be the turn consequence of you just being a human computer, like you're basically a flesh computer with nothing that gives you the ability to decide for your own, you're just basically a product of external influences and hormones that are produced at certain values. That would mean in turn that stuff like you are getting charged for you choosing to rob a bank would not work. The operation of law is under the concept of you decided to do that, which is why, for example, for inebriation or psychological what's the word? Not unavailability. Irresponsibility? No. If you're not, if you can't be held psychologically accountable, you can't be committed to the convicted for the crime. But that would be the case then for everybody. You can't convict somebody for a crime that they're not able to avoid committing.
The thing is that we are able to avoid it. Like, okay, like.
Are we?
I understand your logic,
but that's the
what I
problem.
mean-
That's the theory problem. If it's true that we're just computers, that no, we're not. That's the entire problem. If we do not have free will to make a decision, we can't be held reliable for a decision we can't make. And you can spin this at the end of the day, but that will always be the problem. If you can't make a decision, how can we hold you reliable for a decision you didn't make? That's the interesting idea of that problem. Or at least that's why I find it interesting.
Yeah, with that logic, you didn't dropkick that child.
No, but that's the problem. That's an ethical problem that has been discussed in the regards of the experiments that have been made to find out whether or not there is a soul, something that gives us free will. That's what law bases itself on the assumption of free will. That's what I find so interesting about psychology and ethics. The concept of like we have indications towards that we could go in the direction of there is no free will because we're just computers. There's nothing external there to make a decision. How can we hold somebody responsible if they're not able to make a decision? That's the exclusory factor for law. If you can't make a decision, you can't be held accountable for it. That's why you can't get a speeding ticket if you have a dying passenger in the car and you're driving to the hospital over the speed limit. You can't be fined for that.
But there is a reason for it. That's the thing.
Actually, there are ways that you can be fined for it.
By default, you can't be fined for that. If
there are ways that you can be fined for it. For example, in the Netherlands, if you are going over 30 kilometers over the speed limit, even though you have someone at risk of losing their life in the car, they can still fine you. They'll just do it later.
It's questionable whether or not they can whether or not it actually goes through with the logic that's presented.
Let's put it this way.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the whole fining shit, right? What would you rather have? One person dying or possibly 6 to 7 people dying? Or more, even.
The part why it doesn't necessarily go through is because usually in the regards of a normal circumstance of, for example, somebody dying in your car and you don't have the time to choose another option, that's usually when the law decides, like, you don't have another option. You don't have the time to wait for an ambulance and shit. So the next logical step is, while driving safely enough, you're allowed to exceed the speed limit to save somebody else. Sure, you're not allowed to weave with high speed through intense traffic. That is true.
Well, I'm more so looking at, like, high speeds at, let's say, okay, I can't see the Autobahn because you can drive at whatever speed you want there. At certain times. But let's say you're going 130 on the A1. Now, I don't know if this is fully right, but in the Netherlands, the top speed on the highway is 100 or 120.
If
Once
i-
you go
if there's
30
no-
over that,
if you're
then you can
if
still
you're
get a
not in
fine.
intense traffic where you would put actively other lives at risk, you cannot be fined for that. You cannot be fined for that. That's my point.
Yes, you can because you're still breaking the law.
No, that is what's called exuberant circumstance. You will not be fined for that.
Yes,
That's
but-
my. That's
Okay,
that's
once you go
that-
over 30 over the speed limit in the Netherlands, it's still considered as
Yes,
endangering others, and
no, but that's
won't be
that's the
fined for
that's
the speed.
you will not be fined. That's the point. That's every law.
will.
No, in every law part there is something in that regard
You
of
will.
there's
in the Netherlands,
there's
you will.
there's always a part of exuberant circumstance, something you cannot change. You can, for example, also not be fined if you're being followed by somebody who you can reasonably will put your life at risk. You're allowed to exceed the
Okay,
speed limit then.
So with that logic, I would always be able to drive over the speed limit because I could possibly put my own life at risk.
Yes,
because
unless
I'm
you,
suicidal.
yes, you cannot be fined for that. You can ask a lawyer for that. In most cases, unless you really put that's why I said if you have highly intense traffic, you can argue otherwise. Maybe in most other cases this is not possible because we're talking not about normal circumstance. The law applies to normal circumstance. It is made for normal circumstance, which is why they usually somewhere have a paragraph of the degree of this is not normal, these cases do not count as normal circumstance, then you have more freedom to do something in order to keep somebody alive. If that's yourself or somebody else, is not often enough not specified. You find that almost anywhere. That's why you have self-defense laws. They work the same way. You always find this. Yes, standard traffic law forbids you to do that, but there's always something that says if you are in danger or somebody around you is in immediate danger and there's no other option, you're allowed to break to a certain degree these laws. Certain degree. That's very often enough. That's why I said in high intensity traffic, no. It's like you're in a city, high intensity traffic. No, you're not
Okay,
allowed to drive
so-
130.
I just looked up a forum, and this is filled with people who have actually been in this situation.
Mhm.
As long as you don't put others in danger.
In active
the
danger.
Netherlands.
In active danger.
In active, all right. In this case, they're talking extremes like 70 to 80 kilometers.
Yes,
Too
but
much.
no, but I'm talking
like-
active danger in the regards of if there's not an actual person that was there that could have been put in danger, basically. If you're not overtaking somebody around the corner while being over 70,
At some point, you're gonna overtake someone. At some point, you're always gonna put someone in danger. when
No,
you're in
that-
traffic. That's an
they
inevitable
do
thing.
no, that's not necessarily the case. You can still make a legal lane change while being over the speed limit. That's the point. That's what I mean. Like, yes, you can't cut them off while you're being massively too fast to save somebody's life. But if you do a legal lane change, for example, that would be the case of you're not putting somebody actively in danger because you still followed all the rules in the regards of the speed that you have. But there's still a passive danger because you were too fast in general. That's what I mean. And you can't be put
I
you
mean-
you can't be fined for that passive danger in that moment.
I mean, in the Netherlands, the roads are pretty much always busy, so it would technically always be an active danger because if you're recklessly driving, aka
it's-
driving
it's-
too fast.
It's always a slippery subject. At the end of the day, also a judge needs to say that's the more interesting part. Then a judge also needs to say, yes, you exceeded your ability to save somebody else's lives while putting others at risk. You overdid it, basically. That is also a thing. But that's the judgment of the judge at the end of the day. It's a iffy thing always. But usually you can't be fined for it. In most cases, you won't be fined for saving somebody's life and you, for example, go over the speed limit.
I
That
just know that in the Netherlands it is possible when it's up to a certain amount of speed.
it is difficult.
Right.
It's a case to case thing. Anything else would not be fair in the regards of what we're describing here. This is a case by case thing.
I mean, I'm gonna be so fucking honest, and I know this is also gonna be like, oh, what if you're in that situation and your life's in danger? I find the whole thing of like, is that when somebody's in danger, you don't get a ticket. Total fucking bullshit because like you're still breaking the law. You're still doing something wrong.
Yeah, but this is the point of it, and I find this very interesting because that's what the law is based upon. At that moment in time, you didn't have a choice. At that
You
moment,
do,
no,
technically.
in that moment in time, you didn't have any reasonable choices. That was, reasonably speaking, your only option, and that's when the law usually goes by. All right, you
In
didn't
the-
have any
alright.
other. No, like that's
In
the
the Netherlands, once
No,
you call the ambulance with and tell them that somebody is about to lose their life, they don't come with a normal ambulance. The first one to respond will be a rapid responder or MMT. They are allowed to drive over 120
yes,
over
but
the speed
yes,
limit.
but for
They'll
example,
always be there quicker than that you are.
not necessarily. Not no. That's the fun part. If you're out more out in the country, you driving towards them is a fair thing to do, even over
Wait,
the
how do
speed
you
limit.
mean? How do you mean you got Diego?
Hmm?
Also, why the fuck you just calling me Raven? Which bitch you fucking? Nah.
What's going on? No, but these same
annoying little
logic
bitch.
self-defense laws are based upon if you do not have any other reasonable option, that's when you're allowed to defend yourself. That is what the whole concept is based upon, and the same goes for traffic. Usually for any other law that is in regard of saving somebody else or saving yourself. If you're out of options, you're allowed to do that, though there might be something called excess of action. Always
In
something.
the Netherlands, it's just a bit double because you have the fact that you can call the ambulance and have them come with a like specialized.
Yes, and
truck, you
it's
know?
still, if the risk of them dying is still higher if you do not move, like too high if you do not move, you're allowed to go towards them. You're allowed to drive towards them at higher speeds. That, yes, sure. In the city case, this is not reliable.
In the Netherlands, it's impossible. Period. Let's put it that way. In the Netherlands, it's always busy. Where we don't have the autobahn, we don't have roads where you can go 300 plus.
Yes, but more on the countryside, an ambulance is just going to take longer. And if the person can't survive the respective time reasonably, yes, you're allowed to take action then. These are all hypotheticals. We need to remember that.
I live in the countryside. I've had to call the ambulance multiple times for my ex, and every single time they were there within 10 minutes.
What
And
do you
I'm
count
talking
in
about
country?
How long?
And I'm
is
talking
yeah.
about life-threatening situations. I'm talking about my ex possibly overdosing and shit, right?
I'm more curious on how far out you count yourself here. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I'm in one of the most dead parts within my region.
How much kilometers?
Like, how far are you away from the next hospital?
The next hospital, by car, half an hour.
That's not far away.
Yeah, that's not far.
Yeah, but I am in the countryside. I
Yes, yes, sure. Like, fair enough. Size of country in this case matters for decision making as well.
Let's get to.
Mhm.
I live in Finland, right? And I lived a while ago. I lived 80 kilometers from the town.
He could
I
have. He would be allowed to do that. He's just too far away. This would
Yeah.
have taken too long.
So, yeah. So, at that time, something happened to me, and I was like basically just falling asleep or something like that. And my dad called the ambulance, but they were too far away, so it would have taken way too long. So he took the car, he took me into the car, and he drove way too fast to meet the ambulance halfway,
Yes.
and they took me and.
Yeah, and he couldn't be fined for that. It is a thing always of perspective. If she was bleeding out, for example, instead of ODing, something that usually takes minutes at most.
Dude, I'm talking like she was almost fucking dying, like actually almost fucking dying.
No, like I'm talking about circumstance where like I'm trying to explain something to you in a circumstance that you're willing to accept is close enough where you understand reasonable action can be taken outside of the law. I'm trying to explain that to you because you don't seem to understand. You don't seem to accept that.
I just find it bullshit on period. Like, why the fuck in any way, shape, or form would it be accepted to break the law? All right, for example, if I get approached by a guy with a knife, he threatens to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
I am allowed to
Punch him, yes.
You're also allowed to stab him. You're allowed.
But
Mhm.
if for me the reasonable action would feel like stabbing him and having him bleed out, I would still go to jail for that.
Mm,
Yes,
that-
I
that-
would.
that
Yes,
dep-
I would.
no,
because
that-
it would
that-
still be
that-
murder.
No, that would highly depends. We're talking here about what's your general expertise regards fighting. Did you have any other reasonable options? That like that
I mean,
that's
no, but I would still be convicted for murder.
no.
Yes, I would.
No.
You couldn't escape.
Yes, I most
you couldn't
definitely would.
escape, and he would have like really tried to kill you. You are allowed to kill him to save your life.
I most definitely would be convicted in the Netherlands. Most definitely.
Look at the laws.
I can walk 2 minutes to a fucking police officer if you want me to.
Go ahead, check the laws.
Netherlands.
Now I'm curious. Go ahead. Because in most countries, self-defense is part of the law.
Self-defense is part of the law up to reasonable
Yes.
Yeah.
limits.
Yes,
If you
and
couldn't
if
escape,
somebody
Killing
no
somebody in
no.
the act of self-defense isn't seen as reasonable in the Netherlands.
It is if he's trying to kill you. If he is trying to actively kill you, that is the reasonable counteraction.
I mean, self-defense is anything from like being threatened and dealing and handling the situation.
No,
Let's be honest.
that's the thing though, and that is also the case in every country. Yes, you are not allowed to do something excessive. If you're not allowed to shoot him if he's coming towards you with a with let's say a skateboard. That is not threat enough for you to for you to be a prompt to just shoot him in the head, because you have the higher force here. That is what we're talking excessive force. But that's the exact point that Lowly was just not trying to make. If your life is being actively threatened to be dead, then yes, the reasonable action to kill the other person is still within self-defense, and it is not excessive force. On a different idea.
I've had friends who have been in that situation and killed a person because their life was in danger. One of them is still in jail.
And now there come different aspects. For example, what did you have available? What's your combat experience in general? If you're somebody who is trained in general in martial arts, for example, your requirement for being allowed to take a life is way higher than somebody who is not.
Yeah, because in theory you have the knowledge to not kill them. You can just handle them.
That's exactly the point.
Yeah, and no, because everything you see about disarming a person.
No, we're not talking about disarming a person. We're talking about you generally have more experience in regarding to react to high stress situations. This is not about being technically able to disarm the person. This is about you're basically trained to handle such a stress situation. So you depending on the situation should be able to basically save your own life without taking the others.
Yeah, because normally you're allowed to kill only because you don't know how to fight and you try to survive. So yes, you're allowed to accidentally kill them. But of course, you're not trying to kill them. You're trying to save your life. But accidentally, it can happen. You can kill them because you hit them too hard with the lamp, and they die. And that's self-defense.
that is also what I read here, because I just bothered to look it up, and they're always talking about reasonable response. But if somebody is running towards you while you're in a corner with a knife and swinging it at you, at that moment he has
No, I'm talking about threat, not per se actually being swung at. Just
no,
threat.
yeah, because threat itself is not a case of self-defense. But that we made that clear in the regards of how we describe the situation. Threat is not a threat of somebody having a knife. It's not the action of somebody actually trying to take your life. Self-defense doesn't proclaim
mean-
itself in the case of threat.
Self-defense.
It's
is
a
when you
very
fucking
double thing, and
die.
let's be honest, this shit is way fucking different in every single fucking country.
No, it's actually not. That's the fun part.
In
No,
most countries,
no,
it's
no,
different.
no, no.
Okay. In, let's say, the Netherlands, I am fully allowed to protect my property, correct? Well, in Europe, in general. I am
certain
allowed to
extent.
protect my property.
To a
In
certain extent.
America, you're straight up allowed to draw your gun when
Which
somebody
is-
comes on your property.
But that is just different interpretations of the same sentence.
No.
No, the-
Stand your ground laws. They are way different in America than in Europe.
Yes, because they have different accessibilities to different things. That's my point. That's for
Everyone has a gun in
if
there.
you're talking about the castle doctrine in America. Yes, for example, the castle doctrine. Yes, they allow you within the context of you already being able to own a gun for self-defense. In that context, guns in it of itself being more widely available, you're allowed to do that because the expectance of the intruder is to probably have a gun, because the chance of somebody having a gun in the US is just way higher. That is just an adaptance of the concept of somebody has more likely easier lethal options, which is why the options you're allowed to legally use are also higher.
I
That
mean,
is
in
the-
America, the thing is, in America, they have the same thing with, like, the reasonable action.
Yes.
Right? So,
Just when you bring guns into play, and that is something very important. Guns bring a whole different level to the thing of reasonable force and threat.
so I'm straight talking about a guy just coming on your property. You probably not having a gun because you don't see a gun. 9 out of 10 times, they have no intent on using said gun at that moment.
But
Then you can threaten-
You are still completely allowed to use a gun.
Well, you're allowed to threaten them with the gun. I don't think you're allowed to use it. on
no,
their
so
person if
that-
you
that-
are
that-
allowed to.
no, here's the interesting part.
With stand your ground, you are allowed to use it as long as it's not lethal.
Yeah, but here's the interesting part, and that's what I'm trying to get into your head. If you present this to a judge, the first thing that is expected is there's always a reasonable suspicion in America when you have an intruder that they possibly have a gun, which immediately poses a threat. And since you
no,
Yeah,
because at the same time they don't give guns to mentally ill people.
do I need to explain to you how easy it is to manufacture guns? Because I can show you how to manufacture guns. I have
Do
a
need to
handbook for it.
explain to you how easy it is to manufacture fucking bombs? Because I can pull that up right now. I know how easy it is to manufacture shit.
Also,
That's
if we're just talking about trade and underhand trade that is regarding American sales towards firearms and the general accessibility, they are way more accessible than the legal forms would require them to be.
Yeah, everyone has a gun in there almost.
No,
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's not what I mean. The thing is, though, the reason why it's written that way is because of that expectance. Because when you're in home, you have no further point to retreat, which is where the stand your ground law comes into play. You expect somebody already to have ranged lethal force. That is the expectance. So when somebody basically corners you, which is your house in this case, because you have no further point of retreat, because that's how your place of living is always considered. Your place of living is always considered the last point of retreat.
Which, in my opinion, is also like total bullshit. Like you can from your backyard, you know.
If you're not living in a flat.
I mean, how many people in America are living in a fucking flat?
Most. People can't fucking pay for houses. I don't know how to tell you this. Most people don't have the money for that shit.
I don't know how to tell you this, but the bank in America is like, oh, you just make 10,000 a month? Oh yeah, sure. Here, I have a loan of 1 million.
Yeah, and then you're in debt your whole life.
Most people
Yeah,
can't afford. People can't afford.
America lives on debt, and that's billions upon billions per state. America lives completely on debt, solely on debt. Why do you think they are economically doing shit?
35% of the whole U.S. population lives in apartments.
That's just 35%.
That's a lot still.
With
I mean, yeah, it's
30.
not.
No, the rest can't live in flats because the country is so big. So you basically have you need to remember here, the big difference in America is you have urban areas and I forgot the other word. Non-urban is the wrong word.
Suburban.
No,
Suburban,
is it
yeah.
called suburban? No, most definitely like the more you go towards bigger cities, the more flats you will have. But shit, somewhere in fucking, I don't know, Michigan, you won't have a lot of flats there because you just have that much space in general. There's nobody building flats there, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I know that makes sense.
But
It's almost like
that's
in
the
Finland.
point. That's still the point is considered. The place where you live is counted as the last point of retreat by default. Yeah. And with that in mind, the concept of the expectance is somebody potentially being armed with a ranged lethal weapon, which gives you by default simply because the engagement works differently, and a ranged lethal weapon is just a different engagement as a threat than a non-ranged lethal weapon. Because somebody can threaten you with a knife, but they still need to come close. You still have time to run away. This doesn't work for a gun.
I can make a knife a ranged weapon.
By default, most people are not able to do that, so no, that is not counted. But yes, for example, if it was known by the person who's defending themselves that they know that you have this ability, that also changes threat level. That is the interesting part.
Let's be honest. Everybody I know is how the fuck to throw.
No, but it
No.
doesn't always. There's a specific way of throwing knife that if
Oh,
you
I
do
know,
it the
I
wrong
know,
way,
I
it
know,
won't kill them
I
at
know,
all.
I know. I can throw knives. I've done martial arts. I've learned.
Yes, but the proficiency in something in any of these regards always changes threat level and perceived threat. That is what shifts around self-defense laws. That's always what is the shift in self-defense law. That's how you determine excessive force or non-excessive force. And with guns, with guns, it's difficult to have excessive force because if the other person that is trying to rob you has a gun, there is no point in time where you could have time to react if they want to use lethal force, because that's a thing of raising the gun and shooting. There's no reaction point anymore. If somebody's running towards you, that's a different thing. You have usually time to react because they need to close the distance.
It's too easy to kill with the gun. You just click.
Back to
and
differ.
it's
For the fact that I have
with-
shotguns, I would agree. It's
For the
fucking
fact that
easy.
sure, it's fucking easy, but like, let's be honest. If you're gonna walk up to someone with the intent of harming them or with the intent of burglarizing their home, you're not immediately walking around with the gun in hand.
But that's not the point in the regard of self-defense there. That's not what the problem the last stand defense and the castle doctrine basically put towards you. And like these laws make sense in regards of how they're written. They make actually a lot of sense, but they're just really difficult to grasp because there's a lot of variance depending on the situation.
I mean, I'm gonna be real fucking fair. American laws just don't really make sense.
Most laws actually
Because-
make sense over there.
Well, not when you look at certain laws together.
No, that's the
There are
interesting
so many
part.
laws that are
I want to make
being
this very clear.
countered by
M-
each other.
Most laws in America and all over the globe make sense. However, there's usually laws far and few between that in and of itself just either counteract the system or do something else that doesn't make any sense regarding it. Because I'm not going to lie, with the time that I spent regarding my legal research, especially since I'm a fucking gun addict, you know, Stitch included, that just a lot of these make actual sense in the regards. For example, if we're talking about concealability of firearms, making them more difficult to get makes sense in the regards of how school shootings are treated. That in and of itself makes sense. Most of the other parts in regards of if the barrel is too long, it still counts as an SBR, for example, for pistols, and then-
SBR is up to 16 inch.
no, but not if you have no.
SBR is shorter. 16 inches is assault rifle.
No, the thing is, for rifle, it can't be below 16 inch, but a barrel for a pistol, I believe, over, what was it? There was also something, I believe over was it over 10 inch? That is also called an SBR,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make any sense. A longer barreled pistol doesn't become a short-barreled rifle. That's not how powder works. That's what I mean. For the rifle, it makes sense in regards of concealability. Sure, that makes sense. You don't want to have easily, completely concealed firearms that shoot higher caliber bullets. Fair enough. That is a fair argument in regards to concealability. Does that make sense for pistols in regards to longer barrels? No?
I mean, yes and no.
No, because it's argued that it makes the pistol more lethal, but most pistol powders are made for the barrel lengths they have. You usually
Yeah,
don't
but
have
at the but at the same time, longer barrel means more pressure, means more speed buildup, means
But-
more range.
no,
means more
but
velocity.
you see, and that's what I just meant. That would mean the ammo in and of itself is overpressured. That you have excess powder that needs to burn.
No. This is just a physics thing. The gas will keep pushing it.
No, if you have no, that's the point. The longer, if you have the same amount of powder, that you have your cartridge is made for this barrel length. Any longer barrel will no longer enhance your velocity and ballistics. That is no longer the case because the amount of powder you have is already used up. You're basically not getting any more volume of gas out of it. That's exactly my point. You would need to have overpressured ammunition at this point, made for longer barrels. That's the entire idea of it. There is no benefit to it at that point. For rifles, usually you can't do more length in barrel because you do not use up all of the powder because it's a slower burning powder. But for most pistols, you don't really get something out of it. Having a longer barrel on most pistols doesn't get an effect out of it. It depends. Sure, it depends on cartridge and pistol. Give you that.
Okay. Let's put it this way. What was it? The M1911
Mhm.
45 ACP, correct? Has less velocity than which gun was it again? Let me just.
A
see.
9 mil, a 10 mil.
No.
5.7.
I'm talking same cartridge.
Any barrel that is a No, any barrel. Yeah, any barrel that isn't cut down should have about the same velocity, because then you don't have gas. Then you don't
No.
have bleed.
So the
Also,
45 ACP from a M1911 is
which barrel
slower-
length you're talking? Because there are multiple barrel
just
lengths.
just standard, just the standard M1911. I don't remember the exact barrel length. But it is slower than, let's say, out of a Ruger LC carbine. And they are using same grain and everything.
Wait, let me read something real quick. I am reading. 12.7, 12.8 centimeter length, and you said the Ruger 1911.
No, the Ruger LC carbine.
Ruger.
This is to debate the barrel length theory. It gets more range because it's more stable.
No, that's not how. No, that's not how range works. Range doesn't work off stability.
Oh no, I know, but it gets more range. It gets more range easier because it is more stable.
But a longer barrel
non-
does. First of all, 16.25. Uh-huh. And that is 10 millimeter auto though. Do we have a 45? That's 45 auto though. Do we have
The
45
Rugers that-
ACP?
The Ruger that I said, the Ruger LC carbine, that's in 45 ACP.
No, it's in 40. I found it in 45 auto, 10 mil, and 5.7. I didn't find it in 45 ACP.
I'm getting it in for me, it's popping up in ACP.
You find it in 45 auto. Jesus Christ, there's one review on a 45 ACP Ruger carbine. No, the thing
Okay,
is...
then let's say a Thompson 1927 A1 Deluxe.
What? Thompson...
Just a Thompson. Same barrel length, same cartridge. Well, same barrel length, if I'm right. Yeah, 16 to 17 inches.
12 inches.
I am
45.
getting it as 16 to 17.
I don't know what you... the standard Thompson 45, you can look it up on Wikipedia, funnily enough, it's 12 inches. With the cuts compensator, without it's 10.52 inches.
This is on a auction. Well, on a sale.
I don't know how else to tell you this. It makes also lengths. I don't like. Usually these barrels are not that long. Yes, there are longer barrel versions of the Thompson, but the standard Thompson doesn't have that long of a barrel. Standard Thompson doesn't have a 16-inch barrel.
Okay, granted, it is. Yeah, it is a different version, but like.
The old Thompson is a submachine gun. They do not like none of the old submachine guns had 16-inch barrels. Yeah, it's about double barrel length. One benefit, most definitely, of a longer barrel is you have more spin in the bullet,
Yeah.
which helps in ballistic stabilization. Your range in regards to bullet velocity usually stays like. Wait, let's have a look here.
Oh yeah, no, that usually stays the same. But for a more stable bullet, it's easier to achieve.
So
a
after
higher
communicating
range.
for an hour, why the fuck did I look back at the TV screen to see a Thompson typewriter?
We were talking. He was saying he does not understand. We were talking originally about the concept of self-defense in and of itself. In the Netherlands would
Right.
always give you a sentence for murder, and we were like, no, this has to do with excessive force and reasonable defense.
Well, yeah, because absolutely blowing away a person's torso with a 50 BMG is not
Okay, okay,
self-defense.
okay.
No, no,
Let's
no.
get things straight. In the Netherlands, we aren't fucked in the brain.
No,
We
no, no.
don't have
uh,
guns here.
No, but I wanted to so we talked about more about like the castle doctrine in America, where the idea is that it's highly likely that the perpetrator of somebody coming into your home having a gun, which gives you the immediate allowance to shoot them, because if ranged lethal weapons are in play, there is no chance to talk it out or run away. You're being shot, you're dead, or you're fucked at least. And that's basically the idea here. That's why, for example, the castle doctrine is the way it is. And then then I was like, then we were talking about sense of laws, and I was like, all right, sure. If you want to talk about concealability, it makes sense to forbid the shorten of rifle barrels for the sake of concealability. To say that's not okay in regards to, for example, school shootings and concealability, that makes sense. What does not make sense, was my argument, is longer barrels on pistols.
Okay, fair enough.
And I still mean that. Barrels on pistols, yes, that still doesn't make sense. If you're talking stocks on pistols and longer barrels, then we're talking about submachine guns again, and they would need to be categorized differently.
Right, okay.
Yes
I'm going to
and
go into Spirit Second
no.
Piss again, and I'm going to go back to talking with my friend. I will be back to paint when I've done talking with my friend.
Yeah, because I'm ready. I'm basically ready to paint. I just need to know what you need.
So
yeah.
I'll paint after I've done talking with my friend, which
Alright.
should be long now. I don't know.
Yeah. No, but
The thing is, like there are kits for for the Glocks.
yeah, the
and
carbine
it would
kits.
still be and it would no. There are normal kits that would still have it fully seen as a pistol.
Yes, but that's my point. It doesn't make sense to complain on a pistol about making the barrel longer. That doesn't make sense. What would make sense if you put a stock and a longer barrel on it to reclassify it as a in regards of firearms. That would make sense. But in general, if you just would make the barrel longer and classify that as a felony, does not make sense, because a longer.
Let's be fair. If you put a brace on an AR-15, it's also considered a pistol.
No.
Yes, it is. Actually.
No. It's
Yes,
not.
it is.
No. It's not.
Then why in the hell would I find forums and shit from a
Because they're not talking.
From a pretty well-known gun dealership that does this according to the SDI.
So no one
and
does it in SDI.
And it considers it a pistol at that point.
That has to do with, first of all, what you're shooting, what mechanism are you shooting with. In and of itself, if you have let's say a standard, let's use this as an example. This HK416, if you had this and would replace the stock with a pistol.
I am not seeing what you're showing.
The HK416 is a by now pretty standard rifle in a lot of military forces. It's basically an AR-15 model made for more close range, running a bit smoother.
Sorry, I just found something truly mind-blowing.
That's fair, but can I shortly make my point?
I'm fucking do this, yeah.
You could change out the stock with a brace there. That wouldn't change shit.
No, but why the fuck would you do this?
On most rifles, changing out the stock with a brace doesn't make a difference. But for example, on carbine kits, where you remodify pistol, they're still classified as pistols. Yes, if you then put a brace on it, that's illegal. It highly depends on what the weapon is classified before the modification. Fuck me, man. You could put that on a fucking bolt-action sniper rifle, a pistol brace. That would not count as a felony.
What was it again?
What are you looking at?
We were at some point discussing like when a gun is considered a pistol or a rifle. So I'm just looking up what
By
it
the
exactly
ATF.
was.
By the ATF,
yeah.
fair enough.
SDI
Alexa,
mainly.
stop.
There. ATF courts have upheld that pistol braces are legal when used on firearms meeting the legal definition of pistols, provided they are modified to function as a short barrel rifle. But that's the entire concept. So if you have the long enough barrel, you can put a brace on it. If your if your barrel length exceeds 16 inches on a rifle, you can put a brace on it.
Yeah. Which I do have to say, braces look way too much like fucking stocks, but it's still a felony if when you use it as a stock.
And but that's the entire point. Like the brace, the legality of braces has to do with short barrel rifles. Anything that's considered a short barrel rifle. So either 2 long pistols or 2 short rifles.
Because we have to go away to Seattle. The reason why we're going to Seattle is because we hear it from we're going to PAX because Steelball have got a really big booth there.
Oh, by the way, babe, if you want to, we could also just open our own
Like
call.
to celebrate the 10
You know, I want you to look up next.
Don't know if there's going to be
You want to know what I want you to look up next?
What?
Uber Eats.
Jesus Christ! This is the all right.
And my
remember when you asked me for $15? This is the exact reason why I already said that I am broke because I knew that this was gonna happen. Because someone knows that I am too nice to say no.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
You
what?
love me, and you know that keeping me fed keeps me not angry.
What's happening here? How are you doing, Loli?
I'm doing okay. I got myself to work again.
Nice.
So positive.
Yeah, no.
Uber Eats, yeah, and then?
Yeah, I'm just waiting right now for Jack to finish his discussion so I can start painting with him.
What?
Uber Eats and then?
Then Netflix and chill.
All right.
I mean, then they first have to get their ass over here because they ain't gonna Netflix and chill with anybody else. At least not on my watch. Anyways, what do you want? Maybe.
Wunderbar.
They want attention, but they don't want to admit it.
I want attention. I've been
Yeah,
wanting
and
attention.
so do I, but I want food first. Because if you don't get me my food, I'm gonna fucking.
Then tell me what you want.
Balls to the walls.
Watch your tone.
That's such a wild dynamic to listen to you.
I've asked you multiple times what you wanted, and I.
Well, can I fucking pull it up? Maybe? Pull it up so I can tell you what I want?
You could have said wait.
I'm just gonna remind everybody here that we are live, and all of this will stay on the internet forever.
I don't
Fucking
care.
Bet. Fucking bet.
Fucking bit. Nice.
I'm Jared, I'm 19, and I never fucking learned how to read. Okay? I don't know.
You people are well, man.
Wild. Savage.
I could just get you your last Wingstop order again.
Nah. I'm debating between you getting me my Taco Bell order or my McDonald's order. Honestly, you can pick, just surprise me.
Alrighty. Let's see.
I want to make this very clear. You're fretting on thin ice here, man. There's no free decision here to make.
Oh no,
No. I'm actually okay with him picking between the two orders because he knows what I want. And with the Taco Bell order, I feel like I should clarify what that entails.
Oh,
'Cause
oh
it
no.
changes.
I still have to Taco Bell order. I can reorder it.
Well, I want the nuggets, but I also want like a black bean like burrito. If you're gonna do that.
Wait. This is something I have to check real quick.
This is wild to watch. I'm not going to lie. I have seen a
I
wild.
have to choose between two different types of fucking nuggets. Either the Taco Bell nuggets, which are actually really good. I do suggest them. Actually, y'all don't have Taco Bell, do you?
No, we don't.
Babe, I'm gonna explode your asshole. Fucking Taco Bell while you're over here.
Is it normal that I'm having sexist thoughts right now?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What are they?
I'm curious as well.
Say that, otherwise you'll kill me.
No. I want to know what these thoughts are.
These thoughts are that your partner uses money for your ass and you're frustrated like that. Control
I get
yourself.
hangry easily.
Okay, look. I might spend money on them. Sure, okay. But at this moment, they also kinda can be pissy at me if I tell them I would get them something and I don't because they are getting me a pretty damn expensive fucking necklace. Which
Yeah,
I
I'm getting
already
him a
told them.
$228 necklace.
Yeah.
I want the woman.
By the way, I am willing to also ensure that package for you. If you can, at least.
Pretty sure I can insure it. I'll ask the shipping company.
Yeah. With UPS, you can insure it for sure.
Lol.
Well, you got the premium treatment with priority.
Where is this bastard? There.
Dude, Grimpy, that I'm not fucking responding means I don't want your fucking product. What the fuck kind of gay porn are you sending me this time?
What do you mean? I have never sent you
Wait,
anything.
I'm always able to send you gay porn.
Lucrative, send me too.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
yeah.
Alright.
You know I'm into everything, right?
Mission failed. I was already a furry before you sent that video.
Mission
my
failed.
God.
You still didn't follow the last thing that happened in this video. I'm waiting.
Can I send gay porn in the chat?
I'm disappointed, Lucrative. You know why? Lucrative.
Mm-hmm.
Wanna know
Hold
why
on.
I'm disappointed?
Come on. I'm not
What's
hearing
so
anything from both of
amusing
you.
about them?
Cause I'm gay and I see boobs.
I still am not hearing what I should be hearing.
What? Don't you hear?
If you watch the video, you should know what you're doing right now.
Oh, maybe I saw the wrong video. Hold on, let me just check out again. No, there...
Is there audio?
There's audio.
Okay.
No, I know about that video, but the video that Pro just sent me.
Well, I mean,
There
okay,
should be audio.
Yeah, there is audio.
but still.
You like that,
Nuh-uh.
huh?
It's a bit too much.
Nuh-uh. You know what I want you to do to me? Hold on.
What do you want me to do to you?
Do I need to hear that?
No, I'm sending him a video. It's good. I'm not physically saying anything.
I always love when I see this.
Already what I'm planning.
Oh dear lord, I don't want to hear about it.
I'm planning way
He's gonna
worse,
bake me
actually.
cookies. He's gonna be baking me cookies. That's the video I sent him. Baking cookies
Uh-huh.
and bread. Really kneading the dough.
Uh-huh.
Really getting
Yeah, I
the
believe you when you
ingredients in
say
there.
kneading the dough.
For the Republic.
Oh, that's crazy. I think you
I'm
should
just
join that subreddit.
I just sent something into the channel.
Yeah. Zukrito, by the way, there's a. I posted a poster on Popcorn Palace. I pay $30 per month to have it there. It's about the group I'm in. Star
Mm-hmm.
Wars group. Have you seen it? It's pretty.
I
sad.
haven't been in. You know when when what the only time was I even was in the Popcorn Palace, and that was to watch John fucking Wick.
Yeah, but I think at that time I didn't have the poster there yet. It's very recent.
I swear to God, this shit. I'm just gonna peacefully set. You know what? No, 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 no. I have tortured you on call enough. I'll let you
I do not want to know about it.
Hello?
I do not
Hello?
want to. I do not want to know.
Fair enough.
He disappeared.
Yeah.
I do not remember which magic it was.
Which one?
There's one YouTube short that I always like that I'm looking right now. Maybe I can find it. Where is it? I'm trying to find it right now. Did you spawn out of fucking nowhere? Fuck me! I'm not finding it.
I'd like to, but I'm taken. I mean, you didn't say anything against it, so.
Why would I?
What?
What, you surprised now?
Yes, because you weren't against it. You weren't like, oh, that's not what I meant.
Who said that?
Don't know.
Where the fuck did I put it?
My boyfriend has forgotten my existence.
Why?
I don't know. I always assume that after at least 1 hour of no contact. I'm like a dog. When you leave me, it's like you're never coming back.
No, you're like a puppy.
Well, yeah, I guess.
You're a good little puppy.
Exactly.
Who's a good little puppy?
Me?
That's right, you're a good little puppy.
It feels weird being called that from you. But I mean, can't complain. My attention-seeking mind is just more fulfilled out of that. I need to test this, but I can test it only on VR, and I'm too lazy to get on VR. Mm, fuck it. I'll wait for my boyfriend. If it doesn't work, he'll be mad at me because I don't work anymore on this. Oh well. At least my boyfriend doesn't make me buy things for him.
I'm trying to find one specific video. Fuck. I love this one. Wait, let me send it into the chat. This one is perfect. No, you're gonna laugh at that one. That one is awesome. There. Jackie boy.
Oh.
No, she didn't touch it.
No, but I got scared. I thought you would. Oh my god.
I do not know what happened there.
No,
Why are you so loud?
Hmm?
Oh, there you go.
Ah, there you are.
Did
I was
talk?
waiting.
He's waiting.
Yeah, what do I need right now if I want to start painting?
What are you gonna paint first?
How about we start with the Tyranids because they're not as important if I fuck one up. Let's start with the Termagant.
Okay, starting with the difficultest one possible. Alrighty then, pal. Actually, no, Rippers are the first. These are the second. What you will need is the following.
All right, I can
So-
also follow your advice and just start with whatever you think I should start with.
Oh no, I'm telling you what you start with because it's physically possible to fuck these guys up because they're like free paint. You can't really fuck them up. So, first things first. You are going to completely paint the thing in Wraithbone.
Wait a minute. So we're starting with the Termagants.
Yeah, or whatever you want. But anyway, no matter what.
No, I meant like
wait,
figure-wise. Like, what would you want me to paint first?
To the Tyranids, it's easy to just paint them. They're really quick, and they're really fun to be fair, because they're not that hard. So you are going to paint the thing, and I mean all of it, in Wraithbone. Thin layer, of course. Don't make it too thick, but just make it
Buckman's
thick enough
Glow.
that it's white.
White is Wraithbone. There, Wraithbone. Shake it.
Yeah.
Then I need an extra
Shake it, yeah.
place to put it temporarily, and then I use the pencil. I need to get some water, if I remember, and a towel, right?
Yes. You water it down until it's semi-runny. So it's like if you put it on plastic, it would semi-run.
All right, I'm gonna get water
And then
and a towel.
afterwards,
And some
now
place
listen,
to put
listen, because I need to go back to talking to my friend because we're in the middle of a very drama-filled conversation. You are going to paint it just so it becomes just so it becomes white. Don't overdo it because you're gonna put like 3 layers on, but just make it thin, but still so it's evidently
It
white. and
covers
not
all,
grey.
but it's very thin.
Yeah, so make it so it's white but thin, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, go on to the next one. Make sure it's dry because the next step you paint over it, so you need it to be dry.
All right.
So just whitewash all the fucking things.
I do. I will. I'm
Alright,
gonna get my
and
stuff.
then I shall come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
So creative. My boyfriend called me gay. It's a huge offense. I guess it's not an offense that important. Oh, he's just not there. Okay, fair enough.
Alright. There's the water. Have the paint. We have something to put the paint on. Should have an old brush here. So I can take the paint out. Yes. Alright. That looks better. So we'll just get some. This still looks not ready. How long do I have to shake this? That looks way, way better. Alright.
Shake it like your life depends on it.
That's what I've been doing. And then he said to water it down.
Zakriti, I'm gonna go now. I'll give the attention 100% to my boyfriend now.
Dude, that's fine. Thought he did that before.
Have fun. Paint good. Bye bye.
Jack, am I doing it right? Is this looking good? Is this how it is supposed to go? Am I doing it correctly?
Oh, this poor, poor thing. What the fuck have you done to it? How much fresh cum have you put all over the fucking thing?
Am I doing it right or not?
No, you're not.
What do you
Oh, the
mean?
cum- It shouldn't be white.
But that's Wraith. No, but that's Wraithbone. I don't know what to tell you. This is how Wraithbone looks.
No, I'm painting with Wraithbone right now because as I said, I'm painting Homagons with you.
I'm using the right color here.
They look so white on camera.
Wraithbone. It doesn't focus on it.
That looks so white. But yeah, no.
If it's the right color, am I doing it right?
Yeah, if you you're doing perfectly fine.
There.
As I said, make sure it's thin because in the eyes it doesn't. Okay, no, it does. It does. Okay, that's fair. That is fair. That is Wraithbone. Okay, that is fair. What you want to do is basically make sure none of the holes or any of the seams like in the eyes are covered or like filled up with the paint.
Yeah, I know.
Because then it gets rid of all the details. So yeah, completely coat the fucking feet. You don't want any grey whatsoever.
Any grey?
Yeah, you wanted the whole fucking thing to be white. Because remember, you are going to slather all the arms and parts that aren't armored in pink. Voluptuous pink.
Is the white the white brush is the right choice, right?
Yes, the thick, flat one. That's the one I use. And you just, if you wanna, you don't have to. I know you're not. I can tell because of the brush tip. I do a thing called dry brushing my model, which means I get a really thin coat of paint because I let the brush get dried out. You don't have to do that. It's really tedious, and also a lot of dust gets kicked up, and you breathe it in, and it's not really nice. But you can just do it the way you're doing it. No different. It's perfectly fine.
So I have been doing it correctly, right?
Yeah. Plus, this is a learning experience. And you don't need to do this for the Space Marines. You could just fucking straight up paint the whole thing in blue. Since all the rest of the paints are already bright enough so it won't change the shade. With the Tyranids, the paints you use are called contrast paints, which automatically do shadowing for you. You just slather the fucking thing on, and then brush over the
Should I take it out of the figure hold for painting?
No, you don't have to. Again, you're gonna cover that shit up with the sand, so it won't be seen.
No, but because I'm not able to reach some of the... Or should I use a different brush for the ones that are really difficult to reach?
Chief, I'm going to teach you a rule that I learned with Tyranids, and it's such an amazing tip. If your brush can't reach it, you're probably not going to see it. So, don't worry about it.
Chest area is really difficult to reach, but you can see a lot of it.
Yeah, but if you're just, normally putting on, a tabletop, no one's going to pay attention to it. So
yeah, but I'm not doing... I want to make this clear. I'm not doing this to play.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. So if you can't fully reach it, it's probably a case of no one would see it anyway. So unless it's obviously, like me or you who do this type of shit, we're obviously going to see those small details. But to I know some mate of yours who has no fucking clue what the fuck you're doing, it's just going to look like nothing happened. You know?
Mm-hmm. Is it normal that you just basically destroy the brush in the process?
Oh yeah, don't worry. Remember, you've got non-synthetic brushes, which are natural hairs. That's going to happen. Hence why I told you, get the white handle ones, because they're synthetic, which means they're harder to break. And they keep their shape.
Because I feel like I've broken it already. Or do they go back once I put them in a bit of water?
Once you put them in a bit of water and then dry them, you can shape them back. It's up to you really if you want to do it or not. I haven't. My flat brush is like a cushion now. It's really soft, so I can just dry brush.
So all of these slightly gray areas are also not okay?
If it's slightly grey, but in an area that you won't really see, it's perfectly fine. As long as the arms and the major parts which are fleshy are white.
But you see what I mean, like, you see what I mean,
Yeah,
like, with
yeah,
these
yeah.
slightly gray things? I wanted to know, like, is that a problem?
No, it's perfectly fine.
Because, like, you can see, like, like, gray shift on the arms and stuff.
Well, to be fair, Chief, on the arms, you got to paint the fucking thing in pink on the arms. Anything that isn't armor, you're going to slather in voluptuous pink. Also, hello, Alice.
Hi there, Alice.
But yeah, it'll be perfectly fine. I remember, this is the first time you're ever painting one of these. You're not going to get it perfect straight off the bat.
But I'm a perfectionist. I'm not
I know.
tolerating.
And to be fair, these are easier because it's literally 3 colors, and they already do shading for you.
I
On
already lost the
Spaceman's-
hair.
As I said, that's what happens.
Hi, Alice.
Yes, Alice. Hello, Angel.
Hey, cunts.
Anyway.
It's also delay.
Hello.
Anyways, Harry, I found something you might find funny.
Don't you fucking dare. What's up? What did you find funny? What did you find funny?
I don't know. Alice has started streaming that. Yeah, I just read what Alice wrote.
Oh, I can't, Alice. I'm on a call with someone. I've just come back because Zook told me he wanted me.
Yeah, I like my Jack.
Sorry. You can take a screenshot of it, I'm sure, right? Ah, shit. Right, I'll come off the stream that Zook is having then, and I'll watch it for like a millisecond. Go back to watching it so he doesn't fuck up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need to disappear, right? Quickly, Alice, come on. Move that sweet ass of yours. Move it, woman!
I'm not going to lie, even in fully white, this right now looks really good. You could probably...
What the fuck is this? That's fucking gold. That's pretty good. That's pretty funny, actually, I can't lie. But yeah, so I'm gonna go again. Call me if you need me.
There's something there. I need to reach under that carapace. Just a little bit. This is already looking pretty good. Just around the gun a bit more. We should be pretty sold. Yeah, a little bit more around the gun. Oh, that's a bit much.
Hey guys.
Hi, Remy. You wanna watch me?
Watch what? What are you doing?
I'm painting.
Yeah, I'm just treating my elbow. Yeah. I'm just treating it because I crashed into a car on my way home.
You wanna tell me what happened?
Basically, I was driving home. A car stopped in front of a red light, and the sun was shining in my face so bad I couldn't see shit. And before I knew it, bang! The guy basically just got out of his car, looked at me, looked at his car, looked back at me, stepped in his car, and fucked off. And now my elbow is a little bit hurt. My elbow is a little bit sore, and one of my ribs is a bit sore. But other than that, it's fine. It wasn't that difficult, but it still hurts.
Which date do we have today?
Hmm?
Which date do we have today?
We have. It's the 2nd of May. Why?
Where you live? Where you living?
I live in Bel. What you mean?
Just answer the questions.
I live in Belgium. Why?
Alright. What's 2 plus 2?
4. I
Alright.
have no concussion. If that's what you're thinking.
Dude, self-diagnosing whether or not you have a concussion is a bad concept. You always have somebody else do it, which is why I just now asked you the questions.
Fair. But yeah, I know I don't have a concussion because, well, you just asked the question 2 plus 2, and that's definitely 4. But yeah, I swear where I was, the way I'm driving home, that sun in that particular spot is so fucking dangerous because you get completely blinded. So yeah, what's Jack doing?
Jack's talking to a friend while I'm painting. He's helping every now and again.
Fair enough. I mean, I saw you guys like in here with like a bunch of guys, and I was like, not gonna disturb them.
Oh no, those are some of the friends. You're supposed to meet them.
Yeah, but there were too many, so I was like, I'm just gonna be sitting here.
Aura, Lowly, and Raven and his girlfriend.
Yeah. Keep in mind, I'm still a shy fucker.
No, but you know Aura. I believe you have met Lowly. I believe.
Wait, is Lily like Raven's girlfriend?
No, Crow is
Raven's
girlfriend. Have you met Raven?
The only one I have met is Raven, Aura, and that's it.
This is so. I'm not going to lie. I'm just painting it white, and I'm having fun.
But yeah, I know it. I know my lungs are not damaged because like my rib is not like anywhere near my lungs because I can take a deep breath without being in pain. It's probably just a little bit sore from the clash. Hey, sweetheart.
Hi there, Bunny. The Bunyan is here.
No, it's Deka.
Oh. I don't know, I can't
She's
see
like,
it.
"Yuck." It's Deka. Yeah, it's Deka. If I say sweetheart, it's Deka. If I say honey, it's Bun.
Fair enough. I'm sorry, Decker. I sadly can't look out for you right now. I'm kind of busy.
You daft crowd.
I mean, look at this
Ah.
beauty. Can you see that? Remy, look at this beauty.
I cannot see it now.
Just look in my fucking stream.
No. Right.
There.
Hold on. Well, now I can't seem to log into my own fucking accounts anymore. Yippee! Twitch is wherever like off the stuff for me. Yippee! Twitch is just fucked. Twitch is just fucked for me.
I'm on YouTube.
Oh.
Just use my link. I have it in both main chat and the stream chat.
Fair enough. That is indeed a beautiful piece.
Hmm?
That is a beautiful piece, yeah.
And I just only painted it white until now. I haven't even given it color. Right here.
Mhm.
That makes it easier to see. There. There.
So how have you been, sweetheart? There's the bun. There's the bunion.
I don't.
My honey bun.
The thing is, I can't hear anybody join, so I also can't read right now because I'm concentrating.
Well, Bun just joined.
Hi, Benny.
Bun says hi. And Deck is gone.
I am not going to lie, this rough over sketch looks, for me personally, the coolest. I mean, look at this. You still have the fucking gray, but the white is going over all the highlight parts.
Mhm.
But the gray stays, and now it looks like you have shadows.
Fair enough.
But that's not how I'm supposed to do it, so I won't. I'm trusting Jack.
How you doing there, honey? Mm. I take it you're in the car once again.
Holy fucking Caroli. I've been at this for 3 hours again.
Yeah, it's gonna. It takes a while to do that stuff.
No, you understand. I have spent now a total of over 12 hours on this project.
Hmm.
And my muscles are cramping because I did a workout earlier.
Hello.
Hi, Mary. This is my friend Boss Mary.
Hi.
You sleepy again, Mary?
No, I just came from work.
Nice. I'm painting right now, so I'm sorry if I don't pay a lot of attention.
Oh, Jack's on.
I hear we'll be back.
Probably.
He said something about drama happening, so I'm gonna leave him.
Possibly with Lou, if I had to guess.
No, he said he was talking to a friend.
Well, I hope he's doing okay. You know, he's not the type of person who likes drama, so.
Erasmus fuckface. Oh shit.
Welcome back, Jack.
I had to lose this one. This one is super difficult to paint on the stand.
Oh, and he's gone again.
That was probably a crash though. No, this is looking good. I mean, look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, that's one of the ready. That's one that should be dry by now. That's one of the one that I already painted white. That should be dry by now. Wait a minute. I just saw there's something that I need to still paint. Alright. I think I'm gonna stop here for today.
Alright.
Alright, thank you.